Imagine sitting inside a dimly lit room at a premium sports auction in Cambridge back in 2001, where a group of incredibly ambitious MIT students are bidding on highly coveted, sold-out Boston Celtics basketball tickets. What these bright students do not know is that researchers Drazen Prelec and Duncan Simister have secretly split the bidding group exactly in half to execute a truly terrifying psychological experiment on human spending behavior. The first group is told they can only pay using crisp physical cash, while the second group is informed they are required to place their final high-stakes bids using a plastic credit card. If you believe that a rational human being would value the exact same pair of basketball tickets equally, regardless of how they pay, the final calculated data from this historic study will completely shatter your reality. The credit card group averages an astonishing bid of $72 per ticket, while the cash-only group refuses to bid any higher than a meager average of $28 for the exact same seats. This means that simply switching from paper currency to a piece of plastic instantly hacks your brain into willing to pay nearly 150% more for the exact same item. There is a hidden psychological bug buried deep inside your cognitive architecture that causes you to systematically overspend every single day, and almost no mainstream financial advisor will ever explain this to you. Before we unlock the most counterintuitive part of this psychological trap, you must realize that understanding these hidden forces is the only real way to protect your hard-earned savings from predatory modern corporate systems. I break down exactly one powerful behavioral psychology concept per video in plain English. So if you want to master your mind and protect your wealth from these corporate traps, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. To truly understand why paper currency alters your rational judgment so drastically, we must look at a groundbreaking neuroimaging study conducted by Stanford professor Brian Knutson back in the year 2007. Professor Knutson placed ordinary consumers inside high-tech functional MRI brain scanners, handed them a fixed amount of spending money, and monitored their neural activity while flashing various consumer products on a screen. When a luxury product appeared, the pleasure centers of the subject's brains instantly lit up with heavy dopamine activity, which is the completely standard evolutionary response to desiring a highly valuable resource. But the moment the researchers flashed the actual retail price tag of that item on the screen, something completely unexpected and profoundly shocking happened inside the brains of these conscious consumers. The brain scanner showed immediate, intense activation in a deep neurological region called the insula, which is the exact same anatomical zone that fires when you accidentally smash your thumb with a heavy metal hammer. Behavioral economists officially call this immediate evolutionary distress mechanism the pain of paying, and it serves as nature's ultimate psychological brake system to keep you from draining your scarce resources. Your brain did not evolve to navigate digital commerce, so it processes the literal physical departure of paper cash from your hands as a genuine, tangible loss that triggers immediate emotional suffering. But here is the exact moment where the modern financial system completely hacks your biology, because a credit card acts as a highly effective neurological anesthetic that completely numbs this protective pain response. Think about the last time you pulled a crisp $100 bill out of your wallet, handed it over to a cashier, and watched it disappear permanently into a cash register drawer. You felt a very real, sharp, evolutionary pang of regret because your brain instantly registered the absolute finality of losing that physical asset, which forced you to consider the trade-offs of your purchase. Now contrast that highly painful sensory experience with the effortless physical motion of tapping a sleek titanium credit card or scanning your smartphone against a digital terminal for a fast transaction. When you swipe that plastic card, you do not actually give up anything tangible in that specific moment because your brain completely decouples the immediate pleasure of buying from the delayed pain of paying. You get to take the shiny new product home with you immediately, while the actual painful financial reckoning is pushed entirely into a distant, abstract future billing cycle that you do not have to visualize right now. Multi-billion-dollar credit card corporations have known about this massive neurological vulnerability for decades, and they have spent astronomical sums of money designing payment systems that exploit this loophole systematically. What most people never realize is that the global shift toward a cashless society is not actually driven by consumer convenience, but rather by an intentional corporate campaign to completely eliminate transactional friction. Every single millisecond of friction that a company successfully removes from the checkout process represents a massive drop in your brain's natural ability to activate its protective insula pain response. This is precisely why casino floors across the globe completely ban the use of actual physical currency at their gaming tables, forcing players to exchange their hard cash for bright, circular plastic gaming chips. A gambler who would hesitate to throw a crisp $500 stack of paper currency onto a blackjack table will casually bet a single purple plastic chip without feeling a single ounce of psychological resistance. The plastic chip strips away the true identity of the money, transforming a month of hard labor into a meaningless game piece that feels completely detached from the reality of your actual checking account. Stay with me for the next 2 minutes, because what we are about to look at next explains how this exact same casino manipulation strategy has been integrated directly into your smartphone apps. Consider the brilliant corporate architecture of Amazon's famous patented one-click buying button, which allows you to purchase any item on Earth without ever entering a billing address or reviewing a shopping cart. By eliminating the shopping cart review page, Amazon successfully bypasses your brain's final cognitive defense line, forcing the transaction through before your sluggish psychological pain receptors even have a chance to activate. The exact same dark pattern is utilized by modern food delivery apps that store your credit information permanently, ensuring you only ever see a friendly digital confirmation screen instead of an actual financial loss. This digital illusion creates a psychological phenomenon known as mental accounting, which fundamentally warps how you categorize and value different forms of money based on how easily they leave your possession. When you manage your life through digital screens, money stops looking like hours of your finite human life and begins looking like a completely arbitrary score in a corporate mobile video game that you are playing. But the manipulation goes even deeper, because the modern credit card statement itself is explicitly designed by corporate psychologists to keep your brain in a completely passive, unalarmed state of financial ignorance. Look closely at how prominently your monthly credit statement displays the tiny minimum payment option, while hiding your terrifying total outstanding balance in a microscopic, dull gray font at the bottom page. They are intentionally anchoring your brain to a small, harmless double-digit number, which completely relieves your immediate psychological guilt and tricking you into thinking that your current lifestyle inflation is perfectly sustainable. What you just learned about spending psychology is undeniably true. But it also explains a completely different financial tragedy that ruins millions of highly educated, high-earning households every single year. This is the phenomenon of lifestyle creep, where professionals earning massive six-figure salaries still find themselves living paycheck to paycheck because their automated digital spending loops completely outpace their incoming revenue. Because they never physically touch their money, they never experience the compounding pain of watching hundreds of thousands of dollars drain out of their hands, leaving them entirely blind to their true financial trajectory. The system is perfectly rigged to keep you running on this endless consumer treadmill, trading the irreplaceable hours of your fleeting youth for temporary physical possessions that you do not actually even need. You are never blamed by society for falling into this consumer trap, because you are an intelligent person fighting against an automated corporate system backed by a century of advanced behavioral science research. And here is the absolute best part of this entire situation. Once you consciously recognize this invisible psychological machinery, you can instantly build a bulletproof defense system to take back complete control of your wallet. To reverse this dark neurological manipulation, you must intentionally reintroduce strategic behavioral friction into your daily financial habits to reactivate those natural protective brain structures that prevent reckless overspending behavior. The most effective, research-backed method to accomplish this is to execute a strict, cash-only challenge for all of your variable, non-essential monthly spending categories like dining out and luxury entertainment. Go directly to a physical bank teller counter, withdraw your designated monthly entertainment budget in paper bills, and divide that physical currency into separate envelope systems labeled for specific purposes. When you look into your entertainment envelope and see only a single, lonely $20 bill remaining for the month, your visual cortex transmits an immediate, unmistakable distress signal directly to your rational brain. This simple, old-school envelope system forces you to experience the true scarcity of your resources, completely eliminating the cognitive illusion of infinite wealth that your credit card statement constantly feeds into your mind. If completely switching back to physical paper cash feels too inconvenient for your modern, fast-paced lifestyle, you can implement a highly effective digital alternative known as the 24-hour checkout rule. Force yourself to manually delete all saved credit card information from your personal smartphone, your primary internet browsers, and your favorite retail apps so that every transaction requires physical data entry. Having to get up off your couch, find your wallet, and manually type in 16 digits introduces just enough physical friction to break the impulsive, automated spending spell that corporations rely on. During that mandatory 24-hour delay period, your emotional dopamine spike will naturally subside, allowing your rational prefrontal cortex to step in and evaluate the true utility of that potential purchase. People who understand these profound behavioral science insights consistently make radically different lifestyle decisions because they see the invisible traps that keep the rest of society completely trapped in debt. Let us quickly pull this entire psychological breakdown together so that you can carry these vital financial lessons with you for the rest of your natural life. First, remember that physical cash triggers a real evolutionary pain response in your insula region, which serves as your mind's natural defense mechanism against depleting your resources unnecessarily. Second, realize that modern digital payment methods act as a highly effective cognitive anesthetic, intentionally splitting the pleasure of a new purchase away from the real financial consequences. Third, recognize that global mega-corporations optimize their checkout systems to completely eradicate transactional friction, tricking your mind into treating real-world money like worthless plastic casino chips. Finally, you can easily reclaim your financial autonomy by introducing intentional friction through the envelope system, or by deleting your automated payment profiles to break the consumerism loop permanently. Share this video with exactly one person you truly care about who deserves to understand how their subconscious mind is constantly being exploited by modern financial systems. One deep, meaningful conversation about the hidden psychology of money could permanently alter how they view their wealth, their career choices, and their long-term freedom for the rest of their days.